Perfect. So, hi all of you, those who are seeing this. So, let's continue the progress from last time like our last session. So we were doing this counter app. We only implemented the text view that was there. We should implement a plus button and a minus button. So when you click plus, the counter goes up. When you click minus, the counter goes down. So this is very informal, and it's not meant to like cover Flutter all the way from the basics. It's just like observe what's going on and try to get a hang of Flutter. And in order to learn Flutter for like the actual volunteers project, a little bit of self-study is like recommended. And sure, like I'm also there, you can ask me questions if needed. But this is just an informal thing just to get a hang of Flutter. So it's fine if you don't follow along, like actually code it. If you do, it's extremely good. But if not, because I want to explain like everything in detail. Just want to put that out there and just mention it at first. Cool. So now we have this view, and a counter is going to be handled by this variable called counter, which is an int variable starts with 0. And if we change it to 1, let us run it on. So we'll just wait, give it some time. So our main plan is currently you see it's just a text widget. Now we must have some buttons that when it's on pressed is like in its on pressed property, we're going to change this counter value. So that's our plan. So now once this loads up on our emulator, then our next step will be to add those buttons. And since we have like a stack, right? So it's so we're going to have a vertical stack. One is the text view. The second part is two buttons horizontally. So if you see now, Control S for hot reload. Oh yes, it won't work for now. Let's leave it at this. Now this is a center widget, but as I said, we need like a text view here. Text view here. Below this, we need two buttons. So we need to remove the center, remove this widget. So Control S goes to the top, and now wrap this with a column. So wrap with, and the column, of course, it doesn't have child; it has children. And within this, oh, let's do this. It has something about children, and within this, we'll keep a text. We'll wrap a text with it within this list of children. Control S. Nothing will have happened, but technically it's a column now. So I'm assuming like you know some things like these properties of cross-axis alignment, or let's just do main axis alignment is equal to center, Control S. So now it's in its main axis, which is its vertical axis, is centered. In cross-axis, is the center there? Good, center. Control S. Oh, cross-axis stretch. Let's try this. So whenever you have doubts on how the widgets are laid, okay, perfect. So it is working, it is stretched. Now wrap this text widget within the center widget. Sure, let's try to do that. Wrap it within center. Perfect, everything works fine now. So now I think we can remove this Flutter inspector. So whenever you want to know like what's the dimensions of any widget there, you can press on this, show debug paint, and it shows you. So now we know it's even though it's not like a small text view, it's actually a long text view horizontally. So it's for like developer's perspective. Control Alt is something weird here. Let's see what it is, or let's just leave it. Cool, center. Now below this we need two buttons. So let's add those two buttons. So our next widget will be, actually we need a row or a two buttons row. So a row, children, within this we need two buttons. Let's add a flat button, Control S. Flat button requires an on press. For child, let's do child. For child, let's just add a text widget that says plus Control S. Let's see how it looks. Good. Um, okay. Just to make it more clear for us, let's leave this on. So we notice this, excuse me, this flat button is here. Something we want to change is this plus. It looks too small. So text style, font size. Let's increase the font size to, how about 20? Plus, let's increase it to 30, maybe too big. Yeah, 30 is too big. 25. Let's see. Now 20 seems correct. Let's remove the show debug pane. Okay. Now Control Alt, and so we can reformat the code. Oh, and also I think Gregory said increase the text size. I sure will. 26, 14. I think it'll get too bloated. It seems fine. Now for the editor's text, so the actual code's font, that will put it to a nice large 18. I think this seems good. Perfect. Now Control Alt, Control S, so everything is updated. Now some things to note is, can we center this? Let's see. For row, let's do main axis alignment center. Perfect. Now all widgets are going to be centered. We have a plus. Now our next step is we need a minus. So actually let's put this first. So here for this child, we'll do the same thing. Control C, Control V. Or is some error? Okay, 2 commas. Now let's see. Good, it worked. Now let's see if we make this minus work. Perfect, it worked. Now something to note is we don't exactly the contours, the boundaries of these buttons. So for this, let's add. Let's make the border. Okay, there's nothing. So let's add a background color. What is not okay? Background color. I mean, what is color? Let's add dot light blue. How does it look? Control S. Why is it not changing? That's surprising. Colors dot light blue. Why is it changing? Is there some other color property? Power color, splash, highlight. Okay. So one thing is we need to add this on press, or else Control S. Now it will work. So whenever the button is, when you don't pass an on press, the button is disabled by default. So be sure to add this on press. Again, I'm just rushing through this. So as I said before, as I'm assuming like you know some stuff. So a little bit of self-studies, of course, is required. This is just a way for um, a way for all of you to just get a feel of how easy it is to build with Flutter. So I mean, it won't look easy now because if you don't have some prior knowledge with it. Um, so like this is just to get a hang of it. Anyway, so now the size box, as we covered with Gregory yesterday, is the easiest way to add space between these two buttons. So this is a row, a horizontal row, right? This horizontal row here. This as a size box of width is 10. So you get this. What is some problem? Oh, put a comma here. You get this space. Let's add. It looks too close. 30. Let's differentiate it. And also vertically we need some distance. So in our column part, let's also add a size box of height 30. Yes, this seems rather good. Now you see our buttons are present. That's good. It works. Now this on press, let's actually populate this on press. So when on minus is pressed, when minus is pressed, a counter minus minus. Now something to note: set state. Always wrap whenever something changes. Wrap it within the set state. That way, like if any of the widgets use whatever variable you have changed, then it will be updated. So yeah, I'm just assuming you know what it means, and people are like, "Why, Rohan? Why are you assuming it?" Yeah, Gregory will. So he's doing like a proper workshop. He will go over in everything in detail. It's just an informal way for all of you. Let's just observe. Like, don't go each line of code if you aren't familiar with Flutter from before. Perfect. So everything works fine now. Counter. So I'm assuming like you are like, intermediate level at least in Flutter. Gregory will go over it in detail. So if you are new and you want to learn everything from start, you can do that. Now, if you notice something, is that these two buttons are very similar, yet we have two separate widgets. Oh, or something else. I thought Zach sent a link for, like he thought the session was in that link. But anyway, so let us extract this widget. If we can do it from here, no. So Control Alt W, that's the usual shortcut. I think I have to highlight it. Now is extract working? No. Okay. Control Alt W, will that work? Right click, reformat, extract widget, Flutter widget. Control or W can only extract with a method returning a widget. Maybe from here, if you don't include the comma, hmm, returning a widget, flat button. Funny, I don't see what's the problem. I don't see any problem here. Usually can go in the Flutter outline, flat button, extract widget. For some reason it's not working. Why is that? Let me. Very surprised. So let's see what error it given. Refactor, extract, Flutter widget. Funny, why isn't it happening? Refactor, extract, Flutter widget. Oh, is it giving some error here? It's not giving the run. Uh, why is this happening? I have no clue. So I guess we have to create our own stateless widget. Okay, let's create a new stateless widget. Let's call this a counter button, and it returns this flat button. Control C. It's not a container, but it returns flat button. Oh, it caused a problem because of the set state part. All right, so now what we'll have to do is remove this part. So I got why it wasn't working. So now here, and text also we have to provide, and everything else stays the same. So you'll see what I'm doing in a second now. Final, because everything in the stateless widget is immutable. Final string text and final function on press. So text, and I can text. I think Zach joined. Cool. Hi Zach. Um, are you? Hello, Zach. I think Zach must be connecting to audio. So on press is just on press. Hello, Zach. Hi Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hi. Cool. Perfect, Zach. So we're just building this counter app. I don't know if it will work. Okay, it still works. Good.
Awesome.
Um, so Zach, so these ones are like a little bit like informal, and they're not exactly going to go in detail on like from the beginning. Like covering further from the beginning. So do you have any like prior experience with? Oh, I think someone else joined.
Yeah, he's
Oh, Jonathan.
new member.
New
Jonathan, man.
memory. Perfect. Uh, I don't know if Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan's here. Nice to see you, Jonathan. But actually,
Hey,
nice
Ron.
to your presence. I can actually I can see you. I don't want to sound too creepy, but I have my ways. Zach, you actually put a spy camera in your house on my request. So I just want to say nice shirt and muscle. And I would shave if I were you. I'll just say that. Yeah.
Got him.
So Jonathan, so this is just like a little bit of an informal workshop. It's very like crude informal. So it's not exactly going to go in detail of like Flutter from the basics. It's going to be it's very helpful for like a person to like get a feel of Flutter if they already have some experience, and then they can follow along. Um, but I highly recommend like this is more of a to make the most of this session. It's like this. Um, Try to see how the code is written, try to see like what amazing stuff we can do with Flutter. So, and I mean, I just want to throw that out there right in the beginning. I don't want to consume too much of the time. So, if that is something you're interested in, then yes, please you can stay here. But yes, I just want to tell that I wouldn't feel offended if you want to leave. Um, I mean, I'm doing this so people who want to watch they can tune in. So yeah, so like for instance, I'm just going to go like not go over the concepts, but just build some apps, and you can just see how like what we're building with Flutter. So Zach and Jonathan, so do you have like any prior experience with Flutter? I don't.
I do not, but I'm honestly confused as to what Flutter really is, because when I was downloading it earlier, I didn't.
Um,
It was different than what I thought it was.
Yeah, also, whenever. Wait, can you hear me?
yes, hi Jonathan.
Oh. Whenever I was downloading it on my Mac, it was saying I had to have Xcode and Android Studio like downloaded. So what is it like? Is Flutter an IDE? Like what is it? Is it
Good,
a
good,
language?
good questions. Good questions. So Flutter is this framework. So Flutter. So it needs some IDE to run this framework. So whenever you see like install, it gives us SDK, which is like a software development kit. So all the tools that we need to create these Flutter apps. So Flutter is not a language as such. It uses like it's a framework that uses Dart as a language for coding our apps. So John said was right. It would say that you need Android Studio or Xcode. I'm not sure about Xcode because for Windows there's no requirement like that. But maybe this is required for you for Xcode. But you need something like Android Studio or Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio.
Okay,
Uh,
I got it. So it's just a framework.
yes, absolutely.
All right.
So you can use an IDE of your choice. So usually we make Android apps within Android Studio. So we are using like we are making Flutter apps in Android Studio also. However, there are many people who actually also prefer one of these. I'm not sure which one they use, Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, um, and both work pretty much the same way. Yeah, and Flutter is. Let me actually give you an introduction of what Flutter is. So Zach, I know Zach. He knows Android development. So he attended some workshops there.
Hmm.
So Android development is built on uh, a very old concept of app development. You know, when was the first Android app developed? I mean, first Android phone released in 2008. And so, if the first Android phone was released in 2008, the actual development started much before. That's like over 12 years ago. Very outdated concepts of app development. Flutter is this thing that started somewhere near 2016. So it is this modern approach to app development that says, why are you linking apps to a specific platform? So don't link like a mobile app to iOS or Android. Create a mobile app as a separate entity. And that's what Flutter does. So Flutter, it is, think of it like it draws everything on the screen and it runs it on iOS and Android as opposed to the native places where they actually create the app and they create everything. Here, it's like Google Chrome, right? In Google Chrome, you can load any website, and it runs on any operating system on anything, right? You just need a web browser. It runs on any browser. It doesn't say I'm going to run differently for Chrome and differently for Firefox. So it draws everything on the screen. Like let's say any website. So let's take this Flutter website itself. You see, when we change this, it changes. It's dynamic. It draws everything on the screen. It doesn't say that I'm only going to work on Chrome. So that's the main idea behind Flutter. So it's platform independent. With just one code base, you can release your app on iOS and Android, and also on the web to some extent. So I hope this interests you. This is extremely exciting. I'm also really new to it. I've done it for about 20 days. My main experience is with Android apps. So that's why I made this informal. So I don't want to, because I'm no expert. I know quite a bit of Android, but I'm no expert here. So this is very informal. So yes, that was the thing. So yes, so any questions, anything so far, or I'll continue?
So
If not,
does Flutter
yeah.
sacrifice any sort of performance, or like what's the catch? I guess would be the question. Oh, oh, is my internet?
No, I think it might be
Very
Rohan.
good
'cause
question. So Zach is on the
Oh,
right track.
there it is.
Yes, it's actually a much more better version. That's because Android was built, like as I said, in 2008, and so the concepts of app development is very old and outdated. So Flutter, since it draws everything on the screen, for doing stuff like modern stuff like animations, it's unimaginably easy to do it here on Flutter. And actually, today
Really?
we'll go over that an animation, and you'll see in just few lines of code you can do like a very beautiful animation. So in Android, you actually, since it's a very old concept of how the whole Android is designed, so you have to write many lines of code and have many files. Like you will have like many XML files or markup languages for visual layout, and then your code will be very long-winded and unnecessarily wordy. And here you can just write in one line, literally one line. So there's no catch at all. It's actually a boost that you have as a Flutter developer. So this is in terms of like development. In few lines of code, you can do the same things or even better things in way fewer lines of code. Is there performance? Is there a performance? What do you say? A performance drop in Flutter? Not at all. It actually is even better. Um, there's no catch at all, and it's actually a much better version.
That's really cool.
So just out of curiosity, whenever you write code using like Flutter through Dart, does both platforms like just natively works on both platforms after you code, or is there any like specific things you have to do in order to get it to work on iOS/Android?
Very good question, Jonathan. Yes. So what code we write is somehow like behind the scenes is converted to the native code. So that is like there's some yes. So like every time you run the app, something happens behind the scenes and it's converted to the native thing. Is my best understanding. I'm also new to exactly like the behind the scenes how it works, but that's the best understanding. Yes, it runs it that way. So there's like everything that we do will be done in this lib folder, all our Flutter code. And if you notice, there are these two folders, Android and iOS, which Zach will know for sure. This is like the similar folder layout as in a traditional Android app.
Yeah, it looks very
So
similar.
absolutely. So I'm pretty sure behind the scenes it actually writes like converts our Dart code into something logically similar for Android and does the same thing. There's surely something going on. And yeah,
Huh.
good questions. Very good questions, Zach and Jonathan.
That would make sense why it doesn't sacrifice anything in performance then, if it just translates it into something
Absolutely.
that understands natively. Cool. All right, well,
Absolutely.
don't let us hold you.
Yeah, not holding me at all. Very good questions, Zach and Jonathan. It's nice when people ask questions. Usually, like nobody attends this, so very welcome audience. So cool. So again, I think the best way to enjoy this is just to see what we are building, and I would build the complex stuff to gain interest. So you will see how cool Flutter is, and you get interested with it, motivated to it. So this is a very simple app that we have here, a counter app. Um, so a few things is this widget, this flat button, which is basically a button that shows minus, and this is a button that shows plus. And when we click the minus button, the counter minus minus, right? On press, counter minus minus. When we click the plus button, plus plus. So what we did was we just refactored, since it's very similar, right? We refactored this whole thing into a counter button. So now we can delete this code. And now here, instead of adding a flag button, I can write a counter button, which is the same thing, right here. Counter button. And now as parameters, you notice the constructor for this, it takes the text and an on press. So now here, and for text, right, we'll pass in minus, sorry, for the plus, and for on pressed, you have to pass a function. So here we'll do set state counter plus plus. So we just shorten the lines of code. And also, if you want to make changes, we won't have to make changes in two places. Just make changes here in this counter button. Similarly here. Now Zach will appreciate this because in Android we have to create a layout file. So something to note here is there's no layout file. Everything's done in Dart. So the code and the layout is done in Dart itself. So there's a huge boost in productivity for us developers. On press, set state, counter, plus plus. Some error here, let's put a comma. Everything works. And one of the biggest advantage is this thing called Flutter Hot Reload, which everyone talks about it because it's just so helpful for a developer. So natively you have to restart the app now, but now all we did was we just pressed this thunder kind of thing, hot reload, and everything. It doesn't restart the app; it just updates it. So let me show you what it means. Is if I want to change the color of this to red, in Android I have to restart the app. That takes 20 seconds on a good laptop and about 50 seconds on a slow laptop. Here in Flutter, let's count the time in less than a second. And it takes like less than 5 seconds for sure. 5 seconds stops on a slow laptop. So it's extremely fast. And if you notice the state, it stayed the same.
Yeah.
That's the huge advantage of redrawing. Like draw everything on the screen. Don't restart the whole app. Like app, think of it as small. Think of it like you're building a Lego house. So you have these small Lego bricks. That whenever a brick changes, just remove the brick and replace the brick. So when the color changes, remove this button from here, remove it, and replace a new button. Don't break the whole house and create the house again. Right? That's the huge advantage of hot reload. Well, so now let us change to light blue. Light blue. Cool. Perfect. Now, so this is like a very simple app. Oh, something seems wrong. So plus for this plus, minus minus. Now, Control S, reloading when it's done. Very quickly, the thing changed. Beautiful, so helpful for a developer. Now, since it's like this workshop is not going mainly into the details, let me get you on board on this Flutter boat that's sailing in the sea of app development by showing some complex stuff. Because I'm not going to go in detail of the nitty-gritty small stuff. So let me show you something that will get your interest and make your time that you invest in this worth it. So we start a new Flutter thing.
Alright.
Let's build okay. So actually, we'll build a chat app. Okay, this is pretty advanced that uses Firebase. So this is really advanced, and it will definitely or let us create a weather app that downloads from the open weather map API. So we see how easy it is to download stuff from an online API. So let us sign in to
Does
get our
Flutter simplify this
absolutely
to
exactly. You
make
must
it?
remember we must have done this in Android, right?
Yeah.
So it simplifies it so much that in just one line of code, like a few lines, you can let's actually I shouldn't show this. The API keys is sensitive, but yeah, it's fine. See, I trust the authority. Anyway, let's create one for testing weather app. Let's generate one key. It's generated. Very good. Now let's create this weather app. Weather app. Let's name everything same. Good. And let us finish. So we are building some really cool stuff now. So let me walk you through what is going to be a mentality while doing this app. Terminate, sure. So we're going to first create the layout. So how everything will be displayed. A very crude layout for the start. That's the first part, layout. Second part is making the request to the online API. The third part is request. Or I think I lagged there. So be sure to tell me if something lags and hopefully that works. Cool. Now let's run the app on our emulator. So three components. We'll be dealing it in order for the most part. First layout. Second is uh, first is layout. Second is making the actual the internet part, the internet connection part of it. The third one is parsing the JSON response. Let me show you. Let's go to the docs. Open weather API docs. So we'll see how the like what way we'll get the request. So current weather data. So let us see some sample ones. So we will um, uh, like we'll type in a city name, and this is the kind of response we'll get. So let's copy that JSON response and let's format it using one JSON formatter. So we get this very nice node kind of structure. So what we want to extract is within our root JSON object, we want to go to main and get the temperature. Now this is in Kelvin, but we'll get the temperature in Fahrenheit as we all are from the US. Next, we want to get is within our weather array, get the first object here and get this main and the description, which is the three main things you want in a weather app, right? It tells you what's the weather, and then it tells you the like what exactly is it raining, is it humid, is it sunny, that sort of stuff. So we'll name it very basic. Anything else that you want to extract? Doesn't really seem like it. This temp max and min, it's not the max and min for the day. It's like the error. So the plus minus, right? It's saying that the current temperature is about 280 Kelvin, and the least, like it can be wrong by about, you get what I'm saying? Like the least it can go is 279, max it can go is 281. Good. So now our app must have been loaded. This is a sample, like a template Flutter app that they always start with. We are going to delete this thing. So let us delete this whole thing. Now let us create a new stateless widget called my app. Let's call it weather app. And weather app. This should return a scaffold. You'll see how easy it is to build now. Scaffold. Let us run that. Will it work? Okay, it doesn't work. So sometimes when missing static target. Alright. So actually wrap this within a material app and name this home. Will this work? So usually in the start, if it doesn't work, you have to restart the whole app. So let us see if this will work. Good, it started. Now for app bar, let's create an app bar. For the text part of the app bar or title part of it, let's create a text widget that says, let's call it weather app. You see, it is drew on the screen. It did not actually create a very heavy app bar. It is drew on the screen. So we can change the color of it. So we'll do that later. For now, let's. Next is the body. In the body, let us what kind of layout we want. So let us build a very good layout. So you need to get some inspiration. Go on something called Dribble with 3 B's, and let's see like weather and get some inspiration for a good layout. So we won't go into too complex, but if you see here, wow, there's some beautiful one. Let's see if something that we can implement. This seems good. So we have one big thing. So let's implement this. Will it show on full screen? Or we need to sign up. So let's just see from here itself. So we'll implement this this big that shows the weather, then the unit on the top right, and then we'll get this weather icon, and we'll center all of this in the middle. And where's the forecast? So first, let's do that part of it. We'll go in small steps. So you'll see how easy it is to build everything here. Let me move this in here. Good. Now within the body. So within the body, first we need a column children. So within the children, first we need a text that says, let's say 28 for now. 28 is at the top. Good. Then we need, actually above that, we need a row in that it has 2 children. One is an image. Let's do image.network. So one thing, the good thing with this open weather map is it even gives some icons. Somewhere there should be some icons that it provides. So let's Google search it. Open weather map icons. So yes. So now let us, okay, to get this. So let us open link in a new tab. Good. So now in our Flutter app, we can simply just minimize this. Good. Here, Control P. Okay, it takes this. Let's paste it here. Control S. Oh, there's some error here. Okay, let's put a comma here. Control S. Perfect. You got that. Everything is being drawn fast. Let us see the inspector. Okay, this is what's happening. So let us a row. Okay, first thing is we need an image. Next is what we need is so what it was interval. Okay, then it says today, and it says like the time. So here does it say the time? Okay, there let's display drizzle and light intensity drizzle. Okay, good. So here we'll actually have a column of children, and here we'll have a text that says drizzle, and the next text will be light drizzle. So we'll style everything soon. So let's see if we can style it now, sir. So cross-axis alignment, stretch. So Flutter Inspector is good for this. Stretch, good. We need this to be centered. So let's see the row, main axis alignment, center. Good, we centered that. We need to center this text also. Let everything be reformatted. This text 28 we need to be centered. So let's wrap this within a center widget. Center, good. Actually, we need a row for this too. Actually, so let me Control Z. wrap this within a row. So now you have a text, and then you have the degrees. You remember that? So we need this text that says like the degree signs. Let's degree sign, degree symbol, degree symbol, copy, paste it here, and let's keep it degree. Actually, is it degree F or is it just F? Like in American system, what's it? Is it uh,
Uh, I don't.
actually let me look it up. Is it degree F or just F? I don't know if it even work. Well, we just put degree F. It doesn't
I think
hurt.
it's degree F.
Degree F. Good. Perfect. We put degree F. So now we have this amazing thing. This row, first of all, it has to be main axis center. So we get that centered, very nice. Now this whole thing must also be centered. So column cross main axis alignment center. Do we want to center actually? Actually, no, we don't want to center. Let's leave it as this. Now we have our basic layout. We'll build on this in some time. But now we have the required fields. So now we'll come to a second component, which is actually making the request. So now you see, in less than a few minutes, how like if we put a stopwatch, I'm sure we didn't take over 10 minutes. So we created this very basic layout, uh, which is amazing. Now we actually bring us to our second component, which is making the request. So one of the amazing thing is the Flutter is open source. So there are many um, people who actually contribute to it. Apart from contributing to the actual Flutter thing, there are many packages, many libraries that are there. So it simplifies our job. So one very important library that we would use is this thing called HTTP, which is used to make network requests. So so we need to pubspec.yaml. It's very simple. In dependencies part of it, let us add this dependency, caret sign, flutter get. Perfect. Now we have our stuff here. Nice.
This is about to
Uh,
make this absurdly easy, and it's gonna be really.
Absolutely, yes, yes. In Android especially, I know like these kind of network requests, they take a lot of lines of code. So some things if you do here is not build out in src main manifest. If you add the permission, uh, so use this permission internet will it autofill it? So let me see. So in documentation they must have specified. Alright, so let us try it without the permission. And if it doesn't work, we'll add the permission. So let's leave it as it is. We close it. Now we can actually use the code here. So let us to modularize our app. We won't do everything in main.dart. Let's create something called. Let us create a package. We'll call it components for now. And within it, we'll create this. Not Java. Why is it in? Oh,
You're
I
looking for a
think that
Dart file. It's further down.
it's not a directory. Directly something. Whoa! What is funny? So usually it doesn't. It shows.
Dart file is down there. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, but it's very fun because I think there's some update because it usually doesn't show this. But anyway, let's components and components, and let's add this new Dart file. Let's create this as networking dot networking. Now here will be our main thing. So let's create a class network helper. Oh, it's a class network helper. Perfect. Now here let us create a field called URL string URL. And in the constructor, you have this URL. Perfect. Now let's create a method here that returns. We'll think what it returns for now. Let's create like get data. And what it does is it uses this HTTP that we have. So let us import that library that we just used. So import HTTP, I think it's this one, as HTTP. So now we can do http.get, perfect, .get. It gets the URL. And what does it return again? Future response. All right, so let us. So async, one thing, Zach, is in Android, to do something on the background thread. Remember internet tasks that we run on the background thread? We have to write so many lines of code. Here, all you have to do is just write async. It says, all right, I'm going to run this on the background thread. So it
Wow.
doesn't tell you whether it's so good for the developers. It's pretty amazing. Now async. Now we need here something called await. Oh, await. Now, what does this return? A response is equal to await. Now, from a response dot body, yes. Okay, a first thing is if you get a failed thing, right? If response dot code or error, what's it? Status code. If it is not equal to 200, so if it's not successful, then we need to return. Okay, let's do first a successful code. So 200 is success, so then we need to return JSON decode. So decode it, and what do we pass? We pass response.body. So basically, what response we get from the API is going to be decoded, and that's going to be returned here. So actually, we don't return void. Let's just return something called dynamic. So one very good thing is dynamic. It takes the best things of Python, where you don't need to specify a data type. So that's very helpful. Dynamic, it just takes any data type. So now, if it's 200, else return the status code. So we know exactly what error is there. This is exactly the code that they must have specified here. Response is equal to await dot whatever URL. Then enter status code and body. Try. Close. Perfect. Anyway, now we have this. So now we have this part of it. Now some things to know. Let's create a constants file. So within this, actually, let's create one more dot file called constants, stants, and here let us create const API key is equal to string API key. It's optional to specify data types here. Let us. So I think in the video I will remove this because we don't want to show. This is pause it for now, sir. So this API key is. It's usually we shouldn't share. So I just copy this testing weather app. So let me go back to Android Studio, resume. This it's fine if we share. Um, I mean, I trust all of you, of course, Zach and Jonathan, but since we'll video online, so I don't know if someone will take it. So that's fine. String API, perfect string API key. Now we have that key here. Now within main.dart, what we need to do is the moment in our so oh so let's actually put a state or let us weather app. Let us actually what we do is this whole thing column control alt W will just work. Okay. Is there X refactor extract network okay returning a widget Cool. So let's extract this first in uh, within our component itself. Let us create a new Dart file called weather card. So this makes it so modular. And now let us within our main, this everything that's in column. Control X weather card. Control V. Actually, let us weather card class weather card. Actually, no, not class. SE stateless. We get weather card. Perfect. And now it doesn't return this, it returns this. And some import stuff, import from material. Perfect. Now, if you see everything we simplified here, here we need something called weather card. Weather card. Let's see if everything works as planned. Okay, there's some error. Let's see what's the error. Here some. Perfect. Now let's control S. Okay, everything works as planned. Good. So now you see our main code is very short. So we simplified this, like think of it as a Lego thing. So we made the door of the house. Then we separated the door apart and we kept it in this separate file. Now we will actually build the app here. So within our weather card, let us have some variables here. So some variables less like these things. So first is string main, final string main, final string description, final string temp. Actually, temp will be, let's take it as an int, and constructor for it. Constructor code. We have this weather card. Now what we do is we won't make this static stuff. We'll use temp here. This can be static. It's not a problem. Temp dot toString, because temp is an integer. Temp dot toString. Then yeah, here instead of result we'll have main, and instead of this light result we'll have this. So now in this main, here we can pass. So for main, like you see here, like for, let's start with temp. Now we'll name this as 30. For main, let's call it as sunny. For disk, we'll call this as clear sky. Let's control S. Perfect. Everything works as fine. Now we have extracted everything, and so we are only exposed with these three information. Now we can download from the internet and fill those the downloaded information here. Let's see how we do that. So let's convert this to a stateful widget.
What's the difference between stateful and stateless widgets?
Good question. So a stateful widget is something that will change with time. So when we download weather from the internet, we'll have to change something here. So like 30, sunny, and clear sky, these are state. However, in weather card, which is a stateless widget, nothing changes. It's just like a card. Whatever information is specified is just filled over here. So think of it as a form. Like a stateless widget is something that doesn't have state. That means none of its variables will change. None of, like, it'll, once it's drawn, it won't be changed. It won't change with time. A stateful widget is something that involves some parameters like 30, sunny, clear sky that will change with time. So since once we download from the internet, it could be sunny now, and first it's empty. Then it has to change its state to 30, sunny, and clear sky once that is downloaded from the internet. Maybe after some time it will change to 35, sunny, clear sky. So that's why we make it a stateful widget. We can incorporate that change. Good question. Yes. So Jonathan and Zach, please ask questions. That's nice that you're asking questions. That's perfect. Now for our code. So now our coding parts. Let's do in the init state. Let us network helper, right? What we have here. In here we have to pass a URL. Now that's where the docs will come into play. URL for the docs. Here's the docs. So we'll have to pass it this way. Example, okay, let's take this. Control C. Let us save it in a constants. Const string k API URL is equal to. So let's remove everything. Perfect. Now within our thing of here, let's have to pass in a URL, right? URL. So here let's pass in k API URL question mark q is equal to. So here we need city name. So now let's just pass in city name of Baton Rouge and I think they call it app ID. App ID. So an app underscore ID is equal to.
Is Baton Rouge
So,
gonna have a space in it in the URL?
good question. So yes, it can have a space. So what will happen here? Let's say if we run this code, let's say run this code, and so you'll notice some magic will happen here. So you must be thinking like how in a URL we have spaces. So I'll come to that. A API E. So now in this constants, let's copy URL here. And with city name, let's type in Baton Rouge with space. Now you notice the space will be converted to something %20. So whenever this request is sent from Google Chrome, it encodes that space bar into this %20. So that's why you won't have spaces in the whole URL technically. And you see %20. Let's see, what's it? HTTP. So like it's an encoding. So this space bar will be converted to %20. So whoever is reading this URL will read this %20 as a space bar. But since URLs can't have spaces, so it satisfies that condition also.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's the thing. Good question. Very nice question, all of you. So here in main, so one cool thing is in Dart, you don't need string dot format or for including variables within strings. Just put a $sign and you get that variable. So we have that API URL, right? That full URL, then Q Baton Rouge and this. Now, what we need to do is let's create some variables here called int temp, string main, string desk, DESC. Let's do this one. And here let's have a method called void get weather. This will be async because internet operations always on background thread. Now here, actually let's do this here, and the app starts will do get weather. So perfect. Now here we need to do network helper is equal to this. You notice there's no new keyword. So why always you have to write new? So that eliminates that. It's optional. I mean, you can write new. Now here helper dot get data, and let us store this data as let's store it as data is equal to await. So it basically waits for this. Now why is it giving error? I have to write var, or I can write dynamic. Let me think. Okay, we have this now. Now, perfect. We have this. Now let's do a try because this can fail. So now try. What we need to do is set state temp is equal to data, and you see how parsing it's very easy. It's like Python. So let's see in our JSON. So let us collapse everything. So from the root, you have to go into main from main, if you go to temp. So root main temp. So that's it. Root then main temp. That's it. So if you remember that in Android, you have to do create a JSON object, and then like it was many lines of code. With just one line of code, we extracted that.
Wow.
Perfect. Now, next thing, weather. So within the weather array, first object and get main get description. So root weather first object main. So root so main is equal to root then main. Also root weather first object. For within the first object we need main. That's so cool. Now here I think it's this got description. Description. CRI. It's here. DSCRIPTI. Here on good. And now for this we'll do in here as description. DSC. Uh, and catch if there's some problem, then what we'll do is if there's any problem with this, because it can fail, let us use one more amazing library called alert, r flutter alert. Let's import this library. So it gives us this amazing error message, this alert message, and we don't have to implement a layout. That's the Flutter community is amazing. They have made these amazing stuff that we can just easily import, and that's why people prefer Flutter, because in Android it's not very, the community is not, it's very hard to find something like this. Now we have that. Now if there's something here, Flutter get, so it downloads everything. Now here we have to display that alert. So alert, so within alert there are a few things. So context, context good. Then for a title, I believe title, let's call it error downloading weather. And let's see for description we can write something like we don't need to, but you can say try again in sometime dot show, and that's it. With this one line of code you have an error message, which is so amazing. In Android you have tried many lines, so everything is amazing here. Now the set state is here good. Now here we want hard code with 30. What we'll do is we will use we'll use temp variable, main variable, this variable. So get weather. Let's fix small stuff. So let me discuss like what exactly happens when this app is started. Get weather is called. Since async source run on the background thread, it downloads whatever JSON response from this. Our helper that we created, it decodes the string into JSON. We get it here. Then try. So temp, main, and desc. So we set values to these three variables. Right? We pass that response, set the value to these three variables, and then the weather card, it sets it here. It uses these three variables for setting those three values. Now let's see if everything works fine. So let me think if I forgot anything. Just run, if there's any error, we'll fix it. So it's best to restart. So let me remove this pane. So restart. Good. Let's see in the run pane. Okay, there's some error. Let's see. Data is not equal to null. So let's fix these things. Move this here. Not here. Okay. Oh, data is equal to null. So something is happening. What is happening? Let's try to figure it out. Oh, so first thing is, let us initialize the temp with 0, let's say. This with question mark and this with question mark. Okay, now let's restart the app. So also, so the one is hot reload. The second one is hot restart. So hot restart, it restarts the app in just a few more seconds than hot reload. So it's again very amazing here. Let's see why is this happening. So there's some problem with downloading stuff. No host specified. I got this error. You notice here, so Zach's question, it
Hmm.
decoded this. Now there's something, no host specified. So that's the permission error. And if it's not the permission error, then I faced this error before. Let me think why that is. Not here. Let's see if adding a permission will help us. So let us, because I've searched for this before. So let's Google search. So Flutter, HTTP, yeah. What did I do again? Something with the, they have told the permission. Oh, yes. I forgot that. Not the permission, that HTTPS, add that. So in our constants, we should to add an HTTPS or HTTP. So let us see what it was. Move this. Let's try HTTPS and let's see if it works now. Okay, the app is restarted. Let's see what happened now. The getter was set to null. So there's some stuff happening. Let's see. So something with the show. Okay, so whenever we add something new, usually the best option is to do a cold restart because we added that alert library. So let us do a cold restart. Cold restart, it takes time. A cold restart is
Hmm.
a traditional restart like an Android app. So this will take about like 20 to 30 seconds. Oh, it's done quick. So that's good. Now let's see. Okay, here's again an error. Why is that? Okay, no getter. The same error. Something happened. Something in the alert. Am I forgetting something? Dot show. Uh, Context title this dot show. It does seem the same. Okay, instead of doing this, let's just print in the console for now. Error. So now let us restart the app. Oh yeah, restart. So how we doing that? Perfect. So I think in just 40 minutes we made like quite a bit of progress as opposed to what would happen the error. So first thing is why it's an error. So let us print data for debugging. Print data. So that we can see exactly is the response actually given to us. Is it a problem in parsing or what's exactly happening? 401. Oh, so the API key seems to be giving a problem. So
Huh.
why is that? Let us. So 401 is like an unauthorized or something. Let us run the app again. 401. So let's try changing it to HTTP maybe. Did that do something? Let's see. So yeah, that doesn't seem to do anything. Let me think why it's happening. So whether main.dart we first app ID. Oh yes. So there was no underscore there. Now it should work. Perfect. So now okay, now we know
Okay.
that we're getting the response. That's good. So now
All
we
right.
know there's error in passing. So now let's see. So we got the response. Everything seems correct. Oh, one more thing is let us add and units is equal to metric. Let us do it now. Oh, what's the American thing? It's metric. What's it called? Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
Imperial. Perfect. Now we're getting it in this. Now we have to see what error we're doing in parsing. So let us parse step by step. 10. Okay, this is a problem here itself. Am I forgetting something? So let me see one other app. Something with this one. New window. Let me see how I parse it there. Uh, okay, here's it. Okay. Oh, dot two int. Okay, so what's happening is here's a string. Just convert it to int. So string. Uh, that was the problem. So we can't equate a string to an integer variable. So that was a small. So now hopefully everything works. Perfect. So amazing. So we have our stuff. It parses it here. Also, a string. You notice it contained 84.63. So dot two int. It removed the decimal part.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so first part is done. Layout. Second part is done. Downloading from the internet. Third part is also done. We parsed it. Now let's revert back to the first part and make this layout as we had planned. So now I'll show you how easy it is to make changes to this layout and see it in real time using Alt Reload. So now in our weather card, right, this is our whole weather card. Now let us make it outstanding by adding some cool stuff. But let us keep this within a let us save this within a card. Let's see if that will work. Card. Okay, that didn't work. So Flutter inspector. Let's see if there's a card there. Uh, elevation 5. Let's see if that does something. Oh, we can see the card. Oh, I see. I see. The card is present, but like this beautiful card that it rises up. Now let's see. So what we need to do is card. Let us add some margins. So margins all. Let's add a 20 margin. Oh, it extends all the way to the bottom. Now we need a way to uh, how to say. I mean, it should be just like it's extending all the way to the end of the page. Now that I'm not sure. That we'll think later how to do that. I'm not sure now. Now let's make this look good. So one thing is actually let's keep this icon here. The temperature here. Let me think. So all of you also can think how you want it, and you can tell me. So I'm thinking. Let's go and paint. So our plan is here we'll have the icon. Actually, here in the center of the screen we'll have this icon. Then here on the top we'll have this in very big the temp. Then here in small stuff we'll have the name and the description. That will be a plan. So
All
let's really do this plan. Perfect. Thanks for that. Now
probably have the city name on there too, somewhere.
city name. Oh yes, you mean in the the dribble thing in this?
Just like the name of the city that we're doing the temperature for.
Ah, good. So let's should we name the city? We should name it. Let's name it here in big. Here, London. I mean the city name. City name. Perfect. Good, Zach. That's we need city name. Let's close this for now. We're app here. We have this here. So let's make those changes. So you can see how easy it is now. So within this column, our first thing is, as Zach said, we need text. Let's type in the background for now. Oh, there's some error. Yes, comma, Control S. Perfect. We have this. Now this text must be centered. So let us wrap within center. Text is centered. Very nice. Now let us start doing our styling. So inside a text widget, there's something called style, and with this we'll have to add something called text style. Control or L. Within a text style, let us first font size. Let us add a font size of 30. Let's see how it looks. 25, 25. This seems fine. And also our card, let's add some padding to it. Or let's add a padding of about 10. So it won't stick here. The battery will stick to the top of the card. Oh, is there anything called padding? Oh, there's nothing called padding in this. So wrap within a padding. And let's do the padding of 10. Let's see this. Oh. We'll have to wrap this within a padding of 10. Did it work? 20. Perfect. Okay, there's a nice padding here. Let's leave it at 10 so things won't stick. Good. This one is constant. Now we have this. Now let's keep the icon here. So we need first thing is in our column. First we need the center. I mean this text first. Next within our thing will be a row. Our first thing in the row will be this icon, correct? Then our next thing would be actually the stem. So let's do some rearrangement here. So this stem, the stem row thing, let us Control X and let's paste it next to this thing here. Got some error, comma. So now we have, let's bring the clear sky. Is that what we have planned? Okay, this is actually what we have planned in a way. So now it doesn't look good because let's try to change the style of this. So this text, let us style, text style. So Control L, let us text, first text style, first font size. So there we added the font size 25. Let us add 30 actually. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, this looks good. Let's add 50. Yes, for now 50 seems good. Font size 50. Oh, why did it go in brackets? Font size 50. Next we need to do is, okay, that's good. Font size is 50. Now this person, let's try to style this to style. Text style for this string. Font size. This will let's keep it very small. Actually, what it is, it seems fine. So we won't actually need to do anything here. Good. Now, this seems fine. And now within our row, our next thing within our row, within this row, okay, our next thing within our row is this column. So let's actually put a size box for adding some space. We need some space right between these two. Actually, we won't put even a size box. Let us, within our row, there's an attribute called main axis alignment. Actually, not center. Let's put space evenly. Perfect. We have this beautiful thing that is just done by itself. So if you notice in this Flutter inspector, they are spread evenly across this horizontal line. Perfect. We have that now. One thing is if this extends too much, actually we should keep this below. Yeah. What do you think, Zach and Jonathan? Where do you want to keep it? You want to keep it here or want to keep it below this?
I say we should bring it below.
Below, yes. Perfect. So let's do it below. So now
Rohan, just out of curiosity, that's a static image you're using, right? You're not getting that image from the API.
Good observation, Jonathan. Yes,
Okay, I saw rain and I was like, that doesn't really add up with clear sky.
absolutely. You're correct. Yes, you're correct. We should do something good for that. Actually, in our response, they tell us the icon somewhere. Says main. So, oh, weather. Yes, weather icon. So then we can download the icon. So we'll implement that quickly. But yes, you're right. For now, it's static.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was just curious.
Good observation. Yes. So now here, now as I said, let's bring this down. Mm, and let's see actually in how we started out. It does looks very nice. But for now, let's just work with what we have. Let's do our way. So, right, perfect. Now let us bring this down. So within this, so let's see where that is. This is the row that has these two. Uh, it will get more complex now. Actually, let us wrap this within a column and place this, Control X, place this where? Uh, Here. Oh no, actually here. Here, let's see if this works. Good, okay, this works. So now our stuff is this Control S. I don't think it's centered, so let's just reconfirm. It doesn't seem centered, this seems like a little more dimension. Or maybe let us ensure this clear is centered and everything is centered. Um, Call cross axis center. Okay, something like that. Okay. For now, this seems fine. One thing is this row. Okay, this is getting complex now. It's column Baton Rouge. Below Baton Rouge, let's add first a sized box of what height did we add below? Sized box.
I don't think we ended up putting another size box in.
We don't have to perfect. Let's see 10. How will it work? Basically, we're adding the space here. So 10. Let's add a little more, like 15 maybe. 15. So we have this space here. We have everything looks fine. Um, so one thing we can do is we need to get this to the top. There's a way how to do that. Let me just, in one previous app I've done it. Uh, BMI. This one. So I remember I'd done that. Let me just think. Bottom slider components around icon. Please. Let me see. Slider. Is it this one? No, not this one. So it takes some time. Wait, let me see where it is. Your result. Oh, it's a results page, input page. Slider. Okay. Oh yes, send me. Okay, something here, something here. Yes, row text baseline. Okay, cross axis. Okay, I think I got it now. Something cross instead of this for where we have this right here in this row. Cross axis, we put in baseline. Oh, so let's close this one. baseline, and now something else we did. We and baseline and we did something else. Oh yes, text baseline alpha. Okay, so one more property you have to define here. Text baseline. Let us alphabetic. Cool. It went at the bottom. So there's a way how to bring it to the top, but I think that we'll figure out a little later. Now let's work on this clear. But you see, I think we spent almost 15 minutes or so on this layout, and we're doing it pretty fast. So it's style, text style. Let us change the center to font size. Let's move it 20. Let's see how it looks. It doesn't look good. 10. Yeah, it's too small. 16. 16 looks good. And let us add some color to it. So color, let's keep it black. Perfect. And for for this one, style, text style, let's make this a little gray. So for font size, 16. Let's do 16. Let's look like 14. Yeah. It should look a little small. 13. It doesn't look very beautiful. I have to like tweak this quite a bit, but for now we'll just stick with 14 or so.
Yeah, it's fine.
And for color, let's add something like gray. It doesn't. Something is missing. Like if we tweak this quite a lot and get this to work. But for now, I think this seems okay. I said the gray doesn't look very good. Anyway, let's leave it to this. Now, as Jonathan said, the last step to do is this icon. So our icon, let us. So first thing is within our weather card, we actually have to add a final. Like where we have this image, let's see. The static thing, right, is from network. Okay, perfect. So let us add one thing called final string image code. And now here, let us copy this whole thing. Let me copy this whole thing. Const string k image. Oh, actually, they might be very. I'll just very quickly. Sorry about this. Very quickly. No. Perfect. K image URL. Let's save this here. Now let us. What is 10? So let's look at the documentation. How do we download an image? So they said 10d for @2x. Oh, so code will come here and then @2x.png. Okay, perfect. So code will come here. Perfect. Okay, I think so. Let's do this. We have the URL now. Now within our weather card image code, right? Let us paste this here. And what we'll do is this whole part is our base URL, image URL slash, then is the image code @2x.png. Perfect. Now, yes, let's modify the constructor. Then let's add this dot image code constructor. Now within a main.dart, let's just parse it. So our code, let's add one more state called string image code is equal to, let's start with nothing for now. And when it's done, then image code will be equal to data. Let's see how we parse it. So let's collapse everything. So we have to go in weather. Oh, so in the weather object itself, it's called icon. So everything is the same as this thing. But now instead of taking, from here, if you just take an icon, and so we get the icon, and icon is passed here, and here one more thing is image icon, image code. Let's pass in our image code. Now, if you put if you do Control S, will it work? Okay, so it wouldn't work. You have to restart the app because the get weather is called only when you start the app again. Let's restart the app. Oh, so this is the icon that it sent, which is a icon of a moon. So let us like mess around with this. Any other city you want to tell me? First, let's confirm this is the weather correct. So Baton Rouge weather in Fahrenheit 86, which is very close to what we said, 84. So that's good. Any other city you want to tell me? Anyone? Zach or Jonathan?
Austin.
Austin. Austin. So
That works.
So so all we have to do now, technically, like we should have a text box here, but we won't do that for now. Here we just Austin. We'll do it within the code itself. So it will
Could you
still
technically just store the city in like a variable and have the user change it?
technically yes, you're correct. You should have like a text field here, and that should trigger the change. But as it will, if needed, will very quickly implement a very basic one scaffold.
You don't have to. I mean, we get it. I think we get the point of it.
I think you're right. We'll focus just on the the main part. So now Austin, 89. Let's see something like the other part of the world, where it's sunny. So let's like when it's morning. So let's see like Mumbai. It seems to be morning there maybe. Let's restart the app. Oh, it's raining there. So the icon works and everything works just fine. So this is, instead of starting with this, we can start it with question marks is give the user that it's being downloaded. You can also implement stuff like those loading icons, but this is the crude part, the main part of it. And layout, and I took too much time in the layout, but technically it happens way faster than this. Like I'm also new to this, building layout with this, so it took time, but it's very fast here. We took about how much time? About 1 hour maybe? I don't know if you're keeping track. And we implemented so many different components. Downloading from the internet, parsing the response, the layout building, and we did it very fast using the spot reload. So that's how Flutter, it gives us such amazing features as a developer. And that's why everyone loves Flutter. That's why they're going to use Flutter for our volunteer project. So very amazing stuff. And this is just touching the surface actually. I'm also new to this layout design, but you can build like very beautiful layouts like the one here fairly quickly. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Cool. So what are your thoughts? Anything you want to share? Any questions? Anything? Zach and Jonathan?
I thought it was super easy to parse that API. That was crazy to me how easily we did all that, considering how difficult it was
In the
Android.
workshop, right? Android one, absolutely.
Yeah, it looks fairly easy to use. I'm sure there is some more advanced portions to it, but the basics are super easy.
It sure does. It's very helpful for the developer. We can actually focus now on thinking of what to do in our app rather than wasting time on writing boilerplate kind of code. Like parsing, we don't need any special brains to parse it. We need brains in thinking like the layout stuff, and so we can give our more attention there rather than wasting time here. So it simplifies the stuff for us. Pretty amazing. And also, the biggest advantage, like one of the biggest advantages is this app works here, but it also works on iOS. So if we have a Mac, we can actually run an iOS emulator and run this on the web, like on many places. So it's pretty amazing. Like, although this is an Android phone, it even allows us to, like, in brief, just see how it looks on an iOS phone. This isn't an iOS phone, but like this tries to mimic the functionality of it. But you built an iOS app, an Android app, and also a web app. So it's pretty amazing stuff. So any questions on this, Zach and Jonathan? Anything you want
No,
to add?
I think I'm good. I don't think I have any questions. Zach, do you?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Amazing. So perfect. So thanks for coming. Every time we're going to build something like very interesting. Not going to the nitty gritty details, but build something that's really cool and try to show off the features Flutter has to offer to get you motivated in computer science and Flutter in specific actually. And it's a sea of endless possibilities with Flutter. So I'm also learning more things. We're going to build some cool stuff. So this is going to be recorded. Every of these are going to be recorded all the way till August 1. We're going to be doing it every day at 8 o'clock and very informal. And I'm going to improve myself and build some really cool stuff and give you a good show, like give you something. You're investing your time, or both of you, so and who attend. So I'm going to give you something worth it. Yeah, so every day I'm going to build some apps. So stick around if you feel interested in something like this. And yeah, so thank you for attending, Zach and Jonathan. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Usually no one attends, so thanks for attending. And if there's
I actually had a lot of fun. Yeah.
the two of you, you are amazing. So Zach, I know he's very eager to learn and a sponge when it comes to information, and very enthusiastic. Jonathan, you seem to be the same. You see, if you liked it, then it's amazing. Usually, people who come to our workshops, they leave within the first workshop itself, and they think
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do anything. So you seem like pretty good people. So
The one I went to in person before I actually was even a student at LSU was a lot of fun too. I enjoyed it a lot.
wow, have I seen you? So I must have seen you, Jonathan.
Yeah, I went to one of your in-person like meetings, but when we were doing names, you were like, I don't think I've seen you before, and then yeah, I was still in high school at the time. I was a senior in high school.
Oh, wow. So
I have bright red hair, so you would realize if you saw me again.
are you a girl by any chance? Because I know a couple of.
No,
No, all right. So
I'm
then,
not.
yeah, I thought it was like Jessica talking in like a different voice because she's actually Jessica's that red-headed girl who's after me. Let me tell you, after me. I've called the police on her a couple of times. So the moment he said redhead, I was like, all right, Jonathan, I'm leaving. Jonathan, that's even your real name. I was going to leave. You got that cleared out, so that's nice. So yeah, I'm really glad you attended. I like when people are interested in these kind of stuff because people at LSU usually people don't pay too much attention, and you are starting from high school itself. Amazing stuff. You are actually young and you're already getting your feet wet and getting your hands dirty with these kind of amazing technology. So I'm really confident you'll do fine. You'll do really well. So thanks for attending. I had a great time. I hope you had too. See you whenever you attend. Have a pleasure and enjoy. Peace.
All right. See you, Rohan.
Okay. Thank you for attending, Zach and Jonathan. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and also all those who are watching the video when it's uploaded. So thank you for watching the video too. Perfect. See you. Bye, Zach and Jonathan. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.